Living the next 4 years might be like being on the stress test treadmill at the cardiologist's office. Go slowly, don't push yourself, don't push hard right away. Listen to your heart as you slowly put one foot in front of the other. When the doctor says go faster, you have the option to say no. When the doctor says I'm increasing the incline, you can say, okay, I'll slow down a bit so I don't collapse. You are in charge of how you respond each time. When the president says he wants us to make America great again by pushing the LGBTQ community back into the closet, we can say no. That doesn't align with our values. When the president says immigration officers will once again sit in front of churches, prohibiting attendance by an undocumented family for fear of being captured and sent to a detention center, we can say no. That doesn't align with our values. When the president says he won't allow information on the bird flu to be publicized, we can do our own research, but it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about that. Welcome to Calm in the Chaos Interfaith Center, where our name may garner even more significance in the coming years. Spiritually, we need to maintain some sense of calm in this chaos so that we can be the best versions of ourselves no matter what. We want to survive, and by learning the lessons that life offers us along the way, perhaps even thrive. We need to maintain our own mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health so we can be spiritual warriors, so that we can be allies, so that we can speak up at board meetings, so that we can do the work of Christmas. In that light, today's God Talk is a bit unusual. I've collected ideas from various sources for sustaining our calm in the upcoming chaos, and I will share them with you. It's a refrigerator list for a reminder of how to survive dark days. First, when we listen to the news, remember that watching for more minutes or watching several different channels may not help us to be more informed, but may in fact wear us out, confuse us, and open the door for increased anger and disgust. Be judicial in choosing how much news you watch and listen to. Second, remember what we can and cannot control. How to treat every person, how we treat each other every single day is within our control. And how we treat others is a true test of what is really in our souls. We can control writing a letter to a congressperson or to the local newspaper or to a friend. We can control what committees to join, what actions to take in our community, and we can control speaking up, even though it's risky. When we hear of injustice, an ethnic slur, a microaggression towards another, we need to speak up. We can control being true allies of marginalized people. Third, take time to digest what has happened each day before jumping on social media and commenting or engaging in a discussion or argument about the event. Take time to do a little research on our own and make up our own minds about things, even if our opinion counters something that we once believed to be true. And that brings us to the next point, allowing ourselves to be wrong. Part of what got us into this mess of drawing a line so deeply in the sand is the gang mentality of belonging to a certain group, knowing that we'll always have a team of people who think and feel just like us. If something happens that's positive and aligns with our values, even if it was instigated by people who voted differently from us, allowing ourselves to enjoy the moment and change our minds might just be the right thing to do. Maybe we were wrong about something. So to dig our heels in and fight against everything just because it's from the other side is really a way to reduce ourselves. And we don't want that. Fifth, reevaluate our sources of information, and then give ourselves permission to watch or listen to the opposite point of view, not to sway us from our position, but to perhaps lend understanding to what others are being fed on their news feeds. I listen to a conservative talk show now and then when I drive a long trip. It gives me perspective so I can have a more informed, intelligent discussion with people who differ from me. 6, adapt. Adapt. One word, and it's a tough one. I plan to live to be a very high number, and so I read articles on how to do that. One of the overriding characteristics of the old wise ones is adaptability. We know that change is inevitable, but sitting on the back porch longing for the good old days is not the way to go. It's not the way to handle it. Adapting, changing our ways so we can continue to fully live in this modern world. Learn something new every year: golf, guitar, bridge, Arabic, and adapt to what happens around us. 7th, stay connected with one another. Solitude every day is one of the spiritual practices I encourage, but being in social situations and remembering how other people live their lives is of equal significance. 8th, plan for unexpected events. Plan for natural occurrences like floods and fires, and for also personal events like emergency surgery and car breakdowns. I'm an old Girl Scout, and so I do have a AAA card and an extra can of soup in the pantry. Have we all made our death binders yet? I've made mine. It's a 3-ring binder with all the important documents, passwords, and phone numbers in it that my family will need when I pass. I've settled more than one estate, and I know how invaluable this will be to my kids. Plan. And lastly, cultivate our own resilience. Knowing our own inner core of strength from a base of religious upbringing or to an education in mental health or a supportive family, know our inner core, the part of us that cannot be shaken, and engage in activities that sustain and build that core. Nobody in my circle has a reliable crystal ball. And yes, I do actually know someone who has one, but it's just for the coffee table. I don't know what will happen tonight, tomorrow, next Tuesday, or in 2026. But I can think of people who have acted on what they knew was right, whose struggles and trials have been greater than mine, and their stories strengthen and inspire me. The terrified night runners with Harriet Tubman, the years Nelson Mandela spent in jail. And I remember people who lived and died in terror: Anne Frank and the thousands of Jews murdered in the ovens, families ripped apart at the top of the stairs on Ellis Island, men and women who went to war and came home in caskets, Matthew Shepard, George Floyd. And I know I can survive. I'm ready to stand with my terrorized friends. I will persevere and I will stay calm in this chaos. Today's prayer quotes several lines from Bishop Buddy's inaugural sermon. Let's pray. Today, Holy Creator, we ask you to fiercely guard the lives of the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of them are not criminals, and they need your protection. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, gurdwara, and temples. We come to you sharing the fears of our sisters and brothers and ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are gay, lesbian, and transgender. We know we're all children of the universe and that we humans should make one another's lives not more difficult. We implore you to churn up the hardened hearts of those people in power who have lost their way. Help them to recognize once again the loving image in which they were once created. As the days move forward, keep us all safe. Help us to know how to thrive during hardship and give us the strength to continue to do what is right, to help the lonely, the meek, the hungry, the frightened, the downtrodden. We who are spiritual warriors need your strength to endure. May it all be so. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Blessings.